You guys ever drink these substitutes? Like for soda or something? A bubbly. I love bubblies. This is the best one I've found. It started like LaCroix, started that whole trend. Everybody was drinking like sparkling water, and they're figuring out ways to put like natural flavors without putting sugar or like fake sugar or any of that stuff. And, like, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm not drinking like soda or something super sugary, but I still like them a lot. It's just some things are like that and some things aren't. Some things you're willing to change and some things you're willing to not. You know, some people will substitute sodas for bubblies or bubblies for sodas, and some people won't. It's just things are different. They're similar, but they're not the same. And that leads me to my Onewheel EUC dilemma. Or not really dilemma, but just like, I don't know, comparing them, I guess? Alright, so these are the two wheels that I currently own. If you've been watching the channel, you know that I started with a one-wheel pint. I then did a V&R install and extended the range of that thing so I could ride it a lot further and stuff. Then I eventually just upgraded to the XR, and if you're looking at Onewheels, I've been planning on making like a XR versus pint video, but basically unless you have a specific reason to get a pint, just get the XR. That sums that up. But in between an XR, and this is my EUC. Now, obviously there's a lot of different EUC models, whereas with Onewheel there's only like, really currently there's only two models. There's the pint and the XR. The older models like the Plus and the V1, we're gonna leave out of this, but comparing the XR to this is the Kingsong 18XL. S18, 8. See, like even the names suck, I'll be honest. Like the coolest one or whatever is the Veteran Sherman. Like, who's naming these? But so these are like somewhat comparable-ish models, especially in price. They're both around a couple grand, and but I'm just gonna be kind of giving you a basic comparison, not really of like this specific EUC only, but just of the idea of EUC versus Onewheel, and are they like in the same category? Are they completely different categories? What's the deal with them? So I filmed this video, I think 3 times now, and it's hard to sum all this up. It really is. Like, I like my EUC a lot. It's really fun. I like my Onewheel a lot. It's really fun. So how do you pick? I think the easiest way to choose is to start looking at like different categories of features and stuff and figure out what like speaks to you, I guess. So if it's about speed, the EUC wins. So that's almost maxing it. 28.2 miles an hour, so it goes 31 if you max it, but sometimes I've gotten it, but not every time. But 28 is like, it feels super fast. Mine goes 31, mine's not even nearly the fastest out there. You can get one that goes like 50, it's crazy. The range, EUC wins again. EUC's got crazy range. It goes like, I don't know, I think mine's supposed to go almost 60 miles on a full charge. There's ones that go over 100 miles on one charge. Onewheel does like under 20 miles on a charge, right? So it's just different. And not as good, I guess. If that's your main criteria is range, don't buy a Onewheel because that's not what it's about. Price, definitely, once again, goes to EUC because there's so many more models out there. There's more competition on pricing between like, I think there's 4 main companies, so they compete on price a lot, and that is better for the consumer, right? So EUC, it's, you know, it can be cheaper. Mine, that's still like $2 grand brand new. I bought mine used, but like still like $2 grand. That's like $2 grand. So I don't know. Is it? I don't know. EUCs are like over $3 grand. So depends on the price. It's a toss up. Depends on what you choose. One of the really cool things though is repairability. Like if you mess up your EUC, you can just order parts. Like each individual part. Like why can't we do that from Onewheel? They won't let us repair anything. That's the bummer on there. So after a certain amount of time, they won't repair your board at all. Like if you have a V1 board and you were one of the first people to like support them, I believe they don't actually service that board anymore. You can't buy the parts either, so that's a huge bummer. So I don't know if that's important to you. If you're gonna hold something for a long time, EUC. So then why do I even have my Onewheel? It's like I'm bashing on it, but it's because you stand sideways. It's literally all it is. And that sounds so dumb, but it's the feeling you get when you're sideways and you're carving. It feels like you're on a snowboard. So if you wanna feel like you're on a snowboard, but on the street, the EUC just isn't gonna do it. It's not the same. You can carve, and you kind of like pump carve, and it feels a lot like skiing, I guess. I don't know, I didn't ski since I was like a kid, but I snowboarded a lot. But that pumping feeling is really fun. I love riding the EUC, and every time I think about getting rid of it, I get on it, ride it, and I'm like, it's pretty fun. It really is. It's so fast. Plus, like if I want to go to the store or something, this thing just, I mean, it crushes it. Plus, it's got like a big old bike tire on the bottom. I can loop a chain right through and just lock it up outside if I just need to run in real quick or something. You know, probably not leave it out there all day. You get the idea. It's just that feeling you get when you carve. Like when you're in that turn and you're leaning into it, it's not the same, at least for me. And maybe if I have another 500 miles on the EUC, then all of a sudden it'll click even more. Like I feel really comfortable. I've hit the top speed on it. I don't want to go that fast all the time anyways, but when you want it to have it, it's pretty cool. Like especially if you're riding in, you know, real world environments like where there's cars and stuff. When I get back on the Onewheel, I hate to say it, but it just feels so slow. You know, it just is. It's a lot slower. It's 10 miles an hour slower easily. You know, and that's the big thing is I think riding an EUC makes me really, really want a more powerful Onewheel. And do I see them as competition? Totally. Like if you're into Onewheels, you should be trying an EUC. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. I think I'm gonna try E-skates next. I think that might be the like kind of happy medium for me. Give me some more range depending on the board, but definitely more speed and more stability and stuff at high speed. So that's gonna be fun. But I'm not getting rid of the Onewheel. It's not even a thought in my brain. Like I love it. That feeling, it's just like no other. But I don't know how much longer Future Motion can really sell a 3-year-old board at top dollar when you got competition like this. And for a lot of guys that didn't grow up skateboarding, which I've met a ton of Onewheel riders like that, and they just want to ride for the community. They like the feeling of like riding around, but like they didn't grow up skating. They don't want to like, I don't know, they don't have that muscle memory that they're like connecting back to. Whereas, you know, I am, but if you don't have that, then EUC is going to be the way better option. I mean, the thing screams. They got ones with suspension. The more that we really accept the EUC as competition, the harder pressed Future Motion is going to be to come out with something new and something more powerful. That's the trick. Because when I ride the EUC, I feel super safe. I know that sounds crazy, but you feel way safe because it's so powerful, it's not going to just drop you. Whereas if you push the speed just a little bit past like 20 miles an hour, you're in like the danger zone of dropping that front and crashing, which isn't the end of the world. I don't care. I'm willing to accept that risk and stuff. It's not like, you know, terrible, but it makes you really, really want that power. That's a lot of information. Seriously, there's so much information about these things in deciding on which one's like better or worse. It just depends on what you're doing, where you're trying to go, how you like to ride, who you are, what'd you do when you were a kid? Maybe that'll connect. If you're like a skier, you might like that more. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't do anything, you still might like that more. You might just get an e-bike, whatever. Seriously though, it's really hard to sum up. I think that I love the Onewheel just that much more.